So this has been talked for a long time. I remember talking about it a few years ago, because again it's that long ago to been discussing this. So obviously this is at a European level, and to do with the European Union, etc., with South American countries like Argentina, for example, Brazil, Uruguay, etc., some other South American countries too, and pretty much it's to do with many things, not just beef and other stuff, other things. It was again like a trade deal, I suppose you would say, in theory. Obviously, it's not set in stone yet, and obviously, different countries, take for example, Ireland has the right to say no, we don't want a part of this. But they probably would just go with the West of the European Union. But obviously, this raises a lot of concern at the moment. It's called the Mercosur deal. It's a Spanish word, Portuguese word, something like that. Now, don't quote me. I'm not Spanish or Portuguese, but long story short, it's pretty much they want to transport about 100,000, a bit more, hundreds of thousands, and not even say hundreds of thousands of beef, particularly. To the European Union, to Ireland, etc., etc. Now, obviously, straight away off the bat, that's going to hurt the Irish beef industry. That's going to hurt other European countries' beef industry, and straight away, it's going to put people out of jobs in this country. Like it's just straight up the truth, because they're getting a lot low quality beef that they're paying less for, etc., etc. Because as you know, Irish beef is very high quality, etc., etc. It's well looked after, etc., etc. In terms of that, this beef coming from South America, there won't be the same processes. It won't be the same high quality. It'd be pretty much lower quality. So pretty much you'll be paying, yeah, and obviously too to say about climate change, etc., etc. But would it not cost more on the environment, etc., to bring beef from Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, from halfway around the world to the European Union? Would it not make more sense to have it in the European Union, European countries producing beef, than bringing it from Timbuktu? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you bring it from the other side of the world to the European Union? Would that not have a cause on emissions, etc., etc.? Because usually has stuff on the line, or the environment, etc., etc. But the environment here doesn't seem to matter, because why would you be shipping beef halfway around the world? Would that not cause emissions, etc., etc.? It doesn't make much sense to me on that. It's kind of hypocritical in that sort. But also, too, it's kind of selling out. Again, the Irish government would do it. We all know it. They always have done it. They sell people down the way for they sell their granny down the way for they really had to. And they will sell the Irish farmers down the way for the beef industry here. They will sell it down the way for, because they don't want a backwards looking idea of sovereignty. Pretty much, that's me, Martin said. And just because the European Union, because let's be fair, the European Union, they're not going to say boo to the European Union, to say to the European Union, no, we don't agree with you on this. They're not going to do it. Simple as that. So they're going to send them down the river. So that's probably hundreds of jobs probably gone. So hopefully the Irish government don't do it. We see again it's the formation of a government, etc., etc. But it is lower quality beef in the beef, and the environment too wouldn't have a good effect on the environment, because bringing it halfway around the world, etc., etc. Now, I don't have an issue with South American countries, etc., but I do think we have a good, and again, many people would say it across the world, particularly Ireland, in relation to Ireland, not talking about other countries. So, in Poland and other countries, they're not going to accept it, I don't think. But over here, obviously the media is gaslighting people, saying, oh, it's a great deal, we need to get rid of Paddy and Mary farming, that it shouldn't be farming. It's pretty much anti-farmers. The media here and all that is just anti-farm. They don't want anybody to have any land here at all to farm anything. It doesn't make any sense. And again, so we're just saying my original point. If you go around the world, you ask what kind of high quality meat, etc., or anything else, it's always Ireland. People would say, because Ireland has good fertile land, etc., and it's everything that's here. It's well produced, well looked after. Irish farmers know their stuff when it comes to beef and when it comes to other stuff. They know their stuff. So, and it doesn't make any sense. And again, especially as I say, the one issue I have with this, now it's on other issue, there's other things along with this deal, I suppose, in terms of the technologies, etc., etc. And I suppose that's a story for a different day to look into that. But particularly this one, it would have a huge effect on the Irish beef industry, would have a huge effect on jobs, and even in the European Union too. And then, as I said, the environment. Every day of the week we hear the European Union crying about the environment, etc., etc. Would it not be, and as I said to you, would it not cause more emissions, etc., would it not more harmful on the environment to transport things hundreds and hundreds of miles from the European Union to Ireland, etc., to the Poland, whatever countries you may say? But it's just my opinion on it. But I think the majority of Irish farmers, even the majority of farmers, not beef farmers, I know, but only farmers, they're not really opposed to it, because we can kind of see where they're going with it, to be totally honest. Like, the Irish government really don't want anybody to have any farm. We see in England with the inheritance tax, take for example, on farmers. They don't want people to inherit the family farm, take for example. It's just a huge fight against farmers. But it's okay for us to take it from other countries, it doesn't make any sense, but Half these things nowadays don't make any sense anyway. But that's just my opinion on it. I don't think we should sign it. I think we should go against it. If the Irish government been forced to sign this, was with the European Union, uh, it should go to the people. The people should be allowed to decide to be told, referendum or vote. I know people would say it shouldn't go to the people, but I do think that's the best way, because if it goes through the Houses of the Oireachtas, Dáil and Shannon, and the government, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, have the majority, so it's just going to be passed overwhelmingly. Like, the government are all going to pass it anyways. The only way to really, if it does go to that point, instead of bringing it to Dáil and Shannon there, it's to bring it to the people, to let the people to decide on what they think. Because again, the government will have an overwhelming majority. Even this, the Labour Party, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, they're going to have an outright majority, and there's no way they're going to get that voted down if they do just wash it through Parliament, take for example here. But we see what happens. We want to see, I suppose we have to see. But just in Square Italy, I suppose too, Fine Gael particularly was like about it. So we see what Fine Gael is doing as well. Fine Gael raised a bit of concern about it during the election. Like, it's all well and good waiting before the election, but now going into government, would it bring it back up? Would it stand on the ground that they said before? We see. Thank you.